welcome to Gunpowder Fiction and Plot. That's Nelle. I'm Scott.
Yeah.
We make videos about books where Nelle abuses authors that she doesn't like.
And Scott just goes off on a tangent. Does his job.
I never go off on a tangent. What sort of tangents do I go off on? Tell me.
Today we're doing an original tag because I can't believe there's not this tag already, and there probably is and I just couldn't find it, but whatever, we're making up a new one.
If it does exist, it's like hidden and cloaked. Basically, we couldn't find it and we were half-assed about looking for it.
So, today is the DNF tag. Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, Nelle, you wrote the tag questions. Tell me.
Question number 1.
Do you...
DNF.
I have just started to this year and I think I will continue to do so.
I don't. I have one book that I feel I have officially DNF'd in my life, and that is The Crying of Lot 49, because it makes no fucking sense.
Maybe it would make sense if you finished it.
Maybe, and that's really my attitude. My attitude is very much like, oh, it's terrible now, but maybe it'll get better.
Do you know, I think they're not wanting to DNF a book is like gamblers chasing their losses. You're like...
It is a little bit.
I've been in so far, I've just got to keep betting until my luck comes. No. I mean, very few books have turned it around from a 1-star to become a 5-star.
But some of the books that I've found the hardest work have been the most rewarding.
Yeah, but you can sort of... I wouldn't go DNFing every book, right? But I'm just saying, if you pick up James Joyce's Ulysses and you're like, these are just words, they're just words, what's he talking about?
That is how I felt about The Crying of Lot 49. I felt like he had put a bunch of words in a barrel and pulled them out at random and stuck them in a book. And that's how I felt about that book. I literally did not understand what they were talking about. And I didn't finish it.
Did he include words like and of? And...
I don't actually remember. Part of me wonders if I may have been unwell at the time and just not able to...
I can't tell if this book is shit or if I had a fever.
But that's how shit I remember it being. I did not understand it. I might at some point in my life try again, but I don't think so. That's my official DNF.
I will read that book at some point just because it is your least favourite, and I am curious to see.
And honestly, if you say it's not difficult to understand, I will pick it up and read it again, for sure.
If you've read The Crying of Lot 49...
Is it nonsense?
Was Nelle having a fever, or...
Yeah, but that's the only book that I consider that I have officially DNF'd. There are other books that I have put down, but I will return to.
Yes. And those books may have been put down several years ago.
No, I don't think so. If you DNF a book, does it count towards the books you read for the month?
I read 10 books for the month, 3 DNFs, 7 finishes.
Yes.
I mean, see, I think it depends at what point you DNF the book. If you read the first chapter and you're like, nah, this is rubbish, then no, it does not. But if you read all but the last chapter and you're like, no, I just don't care, I think you've read that book.
No, you haven't. You didn't finish it, therefore it doesn't count.
And if you DNF 2 books, if you get to 50% of 2 books, that equals 1 book.
No. If you didn't finish it...
No, you've done the labour.
No.
If you only work a half day at work, you still get paid a half day's pay. What sort of slave economy are you advocating for?
Look, I'm sorry, but that's just a hard line. If you didn't read the last page, you didn't finish it. You don't get to mark it finished in Goodreads. You can take it off your TBR because you clearly don't intend to read it, but it doesn't count unless you read that last page.
Yeah, I think we disagree.
Yeah, clearly.
I think that's the long and the short of this one.
Question number 3. Is there a difference between a DNF and just putting it down for a bit?
Yes, absolutely.
I think so too. I do not count. I picked up Les Mis at the end of last year. and I've read bits of it, and I have not finished it, and I haven't read it for a couple of months, but I'm still reading it.
When we met, I was reading The Wheel of Time. I am partway through book 9. I can't tell you what part way is, and in fact it may actually book 7, 8 or 12, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I did not DNF that book. I did not put that book down because I was hating that book.
No, you just got distracted by a pretty young lady.
Yeah.
That was really enthusiastic. You just basically called your wife ugly on YouTube. Thanks.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't the ugly I was worried, it was the young that I was.
Your old, grey-haired meanie.
Right, so that was a decade ago. And in order to read The Wheel of Time now, I've started again at book 1. Because there are bits that I struggle to remember because it's a decade ago. But that's not a DNF, because I just put it down for a bit, and that bit extended to a decade.
Yeah, I agree that getting distracted is not the same as DNF.
A DNF involves some form of distaste or displeasure for the book.
Okay, question 4. What popular book have you DNF'd?
Oh, I have a little thing. I DNF'd 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea right before the end because I was like, no, he's just describing shit without a plot. It's boring. I DNF'd Naked Lunch by William Burroughs because that's fucking appalling, that book. I've never read a Beat Generation book that's good, and I'm not going to try anymore. I've read one by Burroughs and one by Kerouac, and they are the 2 worst books I've ever read. I am not trying anymore. And I DNF'd a few books this month and others. What have you DNF'd?
The Crying Lot 49. I should have DNF'd American Gods by Neil Gaiman.
Oh, I was pretty close to DNFing that book.
Question 5. What book did you wish you had DNF'd? I jumped ahead. American Gods by Neil Gaiman. I wish I DNF'd it.
Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand.
Oh, that sounds like... Yeah, I'm never picking that up.
Yeah, don't. Like, ignoring the objectism that she is arguing for her, basically fascist propaganda. It's actually a terrible book. Like, if you cut that out, it's actually...
It's still shit.
Yeah, I've never seen a book so fat say so little.
Do you ever reattempt to read a DNF? Has this ever been successful for you?
I reread Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. I put it down, I didn't read it, I came back to it a few years later, and it was not successful. I just hate that book.
Okay.
It's, some books are like important.
Did you actually finish it the second time round?
I did finish it.
Yeah, okay.
Some books are
then
important.
Your opinion is valid.
Oh, I have to read every last word for it to be valid.
Yes.
Sometimes I can be more interested in my cup of tea. I feel like some books are like important because they were the first to do something, and other books are important because they did it well.
Yeah.
And this definitely fits in the former rather than the latter category.
I've never reattempted a DNF because I really only have the one, and I don't know. I don't know yet.
You don't know?
Convince me. What do you do with the books that you DNF? See, I think this is a dilemma. Do you donate them to a charity shop and leave them for some unsuspecting person to get trapped by?
I think you burn them to your gods. Like, but not gods you like.
This is a sacrifice to the devil.
Yeah. This is like, devil, this is me flipping you the bird. Read some Kerouac, you arsehole. Well, look, we donated Kerouac's On the Road to a mini library when we swapped it over.
Oh, the street library when we did that,
We
yes.
actually donated some very terrible books.
We did.
But
we did release them into the world.
Books
for some
that other
unsuspecting
people,
victims.
other people like those books, not us.
Yeah, exactly.
They weren't like, I think when you donate to a mini library, you need to look at the quality of the the craft. Like, is this book like dog-eared and shit, or is this book new and readable?
Yeah.
And that's important. But I don't think you need to worry about
editing people's reading choices.
If people want to read a bad book, they're going to read a bad book.
Yeah,
it's just whether you make it more accessible to them.
Actually really think that everyone has the right to choose whatever books they want to read, and if they have terrible taste, that's not my job to, you know, I feel sorry for the person who chooses them like I used to choose them and just goes in and gets a box full of randoms.
Yeah.
Question 8. Do you choose more or less risky titles because of your stance on DNFing? I definitely think that I am more fussy about what I pick up to read because I know that I'm going to see it through to the end.
Because I read so many books, because I get through at least 2 books a week unless I have a chunker, and usually 3, I feel perfectly entitled to pick up... I feel perfectly entitled to pick up risky books because I think when you take a risk with a book, you often read rubbish, but every now and then you just read this absolute gem of a book. I'm of the opinion you can really label a book thriller, romance, contemporary, fantasy, whatever you want, and that just doesn't mean anything as to like that. That's not an indicator of whether I will enjoy the book, but it's often how we're sort of taught to pick our next book. You know, I have read a few historical fictions that I like, therefore
I'll change genres.
But often, like, I haven't read a hardcore romance book that I love yet, but that doesn't mean that they don't exist. It's just...
Yeah, I don't give a whole lot of credence to genre, but I've got to say, I think the time that I'm going to devote to a book is a bigger factor for me when evaluating risk. If it's a short book, I'm much more likely to be happy to pick up a new author, a new genre, like something that's a bigger risk for me. If it's a big fat chunker...
How did Hilary Mantel get her first book out there? I mean...
But I've got to we're reading a Hilary Mantel book for book club this month, and normally it's too big a book for me to take a risk on an author I haven't read before, but it's about the French Revolution, which is not a risky topic for me. I find that interesting, and I know that even in a historical, like a fictional historical fiction setting, I will enjoy it.
She's also a new author for me, but she was on my radar, and I was going to read Wolf's Hall later this year.
Yeah, and when people like Roz from Scott Nelle say she's a winner, yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of people who have good things to say about her, but yeah, people who we follow specifically because they have excellent taste in books.
Yeah, have said that she's good.
Not that Roz isn't good for other reasons, but she has very good taste in books.
Yes. Okay, that's it.
Tag some people. So, speaking of Roz from Skelly Dandling about the books...
Yeah, she can do this.
I think she'd be a good one for this. She likes the tag video too.
Yeah.
I think we'd also like to tag Danny at Spinelli Speaks. She knows she's awesome.
Janelle at Too Fond of Books. You're tagged.
We're also going to tag Ange with an E. Love that name because of the literary reference in it. But I also love Ange with an E. I love all of these ones actually.
Yeah. And Katie at Books and Things.
Because she's awesome.
Yeah.
That is
the DNF book tag.
So, do you DNF books? Let us know in the comments. Also, if you want to do this video and we didn't
do it.
tag
we tagged
you,
everyone. All of you tagged.
Yeah, please do it. Please don't think, oh, we didn't tag you, you can't do it. But,
we publish videos on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays. Please subscribe because we're fun.
Yeah, we really are, I assure you.
Bye.
Bye.